Hey guys, All here with the Vangaboys again. We promised you Eugene best deck profile here with Alex, not to be confused with Simo, also named Alex, and my boy Jeffrey here. We're going to autopilot this. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the cards and try to figure out what is it that makes Eugene tick and why it's the best deck and why it's going to dominate the format someday when it gets the good support. So let's see your ride line. Let's see the secret sauce.
All right, secret sauce ride line. This is gonna get nerfed someday.
So go ahead and point your stuff here.
All right, let's see.
Me behind the camera controls.
So we got to start with this double gun of Duststorm Bart. Not to be confused with Simpson. This one has a gun.
Run the egg.
I've thought about the egg. I mean, just sometimes you need the egg.
Run Trickstar.
Trickstar best. Trickstar
that
best.
That would be the tech.
Trickstar best. And for my first ride, I'm going to ride this boy. Nothing special about him, but when he's rid on by the grade 2, you soul charge 1. On the rear guard, though, you get to counterblast 1 if you retire a rear guard, and then you can retire another rear guard. Pretty good. We run that. We run that a lot. So here we have the grade 2. As aforementioned, you soul charge when this rides, but when this one's rid on by Eugene, you get to draw a card and choose a card in your drop zone and put it in your soul. But also on attack, he counterblast 1 to soul charge 1, and he gets plus 5k.
So let's go ahead and start off here to get the awkward elephant out of the room. Eugene can charge, whereas Dragon Empire does not.
Yes, Eugene best deck has soul charge. That's fine.
We're just waiting. Eugene gets counter charge first.
Eugene is next Barrel Magnus. You didn't know?
Exactly.
So
they get counter charge. It's like
you're just
gonna run. You're gonna run Verena.
You just run Valiente.
Yeah,
you run Valiente.
Valiente. That's also secret sauce.
Secret sauce, and then you got Eugene, the best boy.
All right, so the first day that I got boxes, I think I bought 2 boxes. I pulled 3 Eugenes, and my first SP was an SP Eugene. So I pulled 4 Eugenes within a matter of 20 minutes.
And here they are.
I saw someone. They opened a sneak peek kit, and all the triple rares were Eugene.
So Eugene best deck because once per turn he can rest 2 rear guards, give himself 10k and retire a rear guard, and then he has an axe skill for another axe skill that's once a turn. He gets Soul Blast 5 and look at the X number of the top cards of your deck where X is the number of open rear guard circles your opponent has. And it's going to be quite a lot unless they play Fasado and then you just lose. But, yes.
What's crazy is his ability isn't bad. It's a good plus. I mean, if you think about cards like Luard, right, which can counterblast 1 and call out 4 units, that's a good way to replenish your field. It's just unfortunate when the support that you get almost does nothing.
Yeah, and not to mention Soul Blast 5. Can I just point this out?
I know, but you get Soul with the deck.
Let's also talk about Eugene's hidden third ability. That is decking out more than both the Dark States decks.
That is the secret sauce.
Because how many you soul charged? How much?
I soul charged at least 13 cards that game.
No, because his ability soul charges too, right?
So yeah, I can soul charge all of the cards I reveal off of that top 5 if I wanted to.
Yeah, so you go 8 deep with him in a turn. You get 8 cards from your deck. You just I've seen so many games where he decks out. It's insane.
Yeah, and he doesn't even manage to call out the overtrigger.
Yeah, and you only soul charge the overtrigger on turn 2. That is the only time it ever gets soul charged. Any other time, you're fine. If you don't see it between turns 1 and 2, you are set for the game. You got this.
All right, so we know why Eugene is best deck. Let's see what makes the deck go burr.
First, we have the most important card in the deck, the staple must run 4 of the heal trigger. We choose this boy because he's the best boy.
Because it's your other option besides the start deck version.
It's shiny and it's the best boy.
Can we talk about how is this a max? Is this going to be a max rarity deck someday?
Max rarity Eugene will be a thing. It will be the thing. Everyone in town will know. I'm gonna rep this till I die.
All right. Do you regret your life choices?
No, none at all. I got myself into this, so I am 100% committed.
He's gonna
finishing
go
this.
buy like a split case of Festival Collection just to like SP out the triggers.
Got to.
But like, you know, Nirvana and like the rest of the
Burn
Dragon
them all.
Pirates.
Just
Yeah.
burn them all.
Yeah, pulls the rarest cards, burn them, keeps the triggers, and that's it.
Keeps triggers. Triggers for life. Next, you got 4 front trigger. Some would disagree with my life choices, including myself. But 4 front triggers I find them good to protect rear guards early on if you get a defensive trigger.
I mean, that's the same reason why I like running them in Hexa Orb. I mean, not just because it's also can be stacked with her Persona Ride skill, but like you have the 2 rear guards, they want to take out my Fasados, they want to take out my Divine Sizzle Lepisto, front trigger stops that.
Is 100% the only reason I play fronts. Otherwise,
Also-
if we had 12 crits.
Also, like, what? Are you playing draws so you can deck out quicker? Come on.
Yeah.
funny
Is he gonna
story.
embarrass?
Funny story. There were draws in here before I put the fronts in here.
no.
Oh, no.
I would deck out every game. Like it was, there are no draws anymore. First, now we got 3. These were draws. These were 100% draws.
Wait,
So,
you were playing.
3 draws, and I would deck
You were
out
still
every
playing
single
the
game.
fronts though?
Yes.
Oh no.
So now I'm running 3 crits instead of draws because it's best deck. And what more crits? All the crits. You gotta play.
all crits.
Oops, all
Are they,
crits.
are they all shiny?
No.
Only one.
Gross. I only have
This is
one
probably-
shiny one
This is
too.
probably the worst deck profile I've ever seen.
The worst deck profile. Look at this. Look at this.
It's
Eugene-
okay. I'm not gonna do my Hexa Orb deck profile until set 2 comes out, and I get my last Hexa Orb.
Speaking of
SP.
front triggers, when set 2 comes out, you
Front
might
tri-
actually want to keep them in because there'll be 20Ks.
Yeah, I know, and that's the only reason they're gonna be in there. And then I can just replace. Well, I don't know. I might run 11 crits. Who knows?
Look at that. Of course, you got the Dragon Empire over trigger.
Best over trigger.
Get to restand Eugene.
No.
That's
Best over trigger for this deck. Only over
Okay.
trigger.
for this deck.
Best over
Whoa,
trigger.
that's debatable.
I don't
Have
know.
you played the start deck over trigger?
Yes, it's pretty good.
It's kind of nutty.
It is wild, to say the least. Then we have the second best boy in deck, the one that allows you to search Eugene's. So all it says is when the unit when the attack the unit this boosted hits, I can counterblast 1 and search for a copy of my Vanguard. So this is just gonna search our Eugene's, keep us consistent, persona writing, and soul charging till we die.
That's Tentia Stead.
Tentia Stead.
You
Stealth Dragon
You,
Tentia Stead.
you gotta say the names.
I do have to say the
Or
names.
else people in like 4 years they find this deck profile and they're like, you know what, I want to play beginning of D era, and then they're gonna be like, when you say, oh yeah, you played this guy, and they're gonna be like,
That's when
What's
Eugene
that?
starts topping.
So, this is best lady in deck. This is the Stealth Fiend
Shigamanago.
Shigamanago. It's Stealth Fiend Shigamanago. And she has an ability when my opponent's rear guard is retired during my turn, I can retire this, look at the top card of my deck, and either soul charge it or call it to rear guard. 99% of the time it's a crit. So you just put it in soul and don't look at it ever again.
Feels bad when that happens, but it's okay.
It feels bad because every day is that day.
When I play Bastion, every time I use my grade 2 skill, I end up calling out a trigger, so it's okay.
And as aforementioned, we got the what's
Nigel.
Yeah, we got Nigel.
What a
You
great
play-
name for an anime boy.
You play three Nigels, and their effect is soul charge when rolled on by Randor. Okay.
That's the Vanguard skill,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the Vanguard skill. But on rear guard, when my opponent's rear guard is retired during my during my main phase, I can counterblast 1 and retire this unit and retire another unit.
I like how it's like, you know, there's Eugene, there's Nigel, then they're like, oh, we didn't come up with a name for the other one. Randor.
Oh, it's like they were like, this man's gonna be named Rando.
They could not come up with a good name.
And then we got the lifeline of the deck that saves you 100% of the time. PG.
It is crazy. Like, the PGs obviously all have the same skill. You know, you're down your last 2 cards. You don't have to discard. You know, end up going against that guy who's got 2 PGs left in his hand. But I remember when they were giving those cards out for promos before Overdress started, and it made me think, man, is this going to be a unique skill for your PGs? And then it ended up not. And now I have a bunch of common promo PGs.
I'm
And
rocking one myself.
Yeah, I have one too. I think I have like one of those, one foil, and then 2 like of the regular. It's like
And that one
so
comes in
ugly.
SP too as well, right?
Yeah, I don't have
So
an
it's got like
SP.
4 different rarities, and we're just in set
story.
1.
Funny story. I wanna do the regular, the common promo, a foil, and an SP because I want everyone to be triggered when they see my.
Yeah, they clearly need to come with it. Is that all 4 like? There's 4 rarities, right?
There's
So you got
4
the
rarities,
promo
yeah.
common, the rare, the SP, and the hollow foil.
Yeah,
Oh
I want
my
to do
God.
that just so someone is triggered when they see this.
Oh my goodness.
Is best choice. Then we have the quick ticket, Burn Bright Pure Prayers. As long as I have 3 damage in my damage zone, I get 15k shield.
And I'm telling you right now, it's not hard to get. It's not hard to get 3 damage in Eugene.
I've almost like contemplated going up to 4 with
Yeah,
this.
that's what I do. Honestly, I like that card a lot.
I like it, but
Because
sometimes
early
it's just
game,
dead.
early game you discard it. You see it late game, it's just basically another
Good.
trigger, but without wasting a trigger.
Yeah. And next we have what's his name? Drag Ritter Al Walith.
This is your spicy tech. I think they just
spicy
announced
tech.
a Drag Ritter recently.
Yeah, this spicy tech is on place, not from hand, but on place. Period. Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, and I can retire one of my opponent's grade 2 or greater rear guards. I mean, it's a little restrictive in the early game, but late game this is just removal. As if Eugene didn't have trouble doing that anyway.
It's crazy too. It's this is kind of what the deck can do. It's gonna be similar in my opinion of what the deck needs for support is like what you're starting to see with Brantgate, right? Like Brantgate, the Horny Jail, right? The Battle Princesses. Their big thing was locking cards in Imprison, and you would think that it's a control deck, but what it's actually turning into and what it's evolving into in the game design is that it's getting effects based on how many cards are in prison, and so in order to bounce around not calling units so nothing gets in prison, they're able to take cards and imprison them from the drop in this next set that's coming out. I think even Infestival Collection, and with that you can get the effects like the extra power, the triple drive, things like that. And so if with Eugene's playstyle is clearly supposed to be getting retirement and then getting effect off retirement, but unfortunately the cost just seemed too high, but it's not a bad concept.
Speaking of costs that are high, we got the next one. We got Drag Ritter Dabba Axe.
What a transition.
Drag Ritter Dabba
This is
Axe.
clearly, we're not scripting this, it just works out.
It just 100% turns out that this card requires 2 Counterblast and a Soul Charge. You get to Soul Charge 1 just to retire a single unit.
That's amazing.
Kind of bad.
Kind of bad. It's bad. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
let's get a little zoom in on that card there.
Look at this.
My
See this
light
card?
is real
If you
bright.
own these cards, burn them now. Burn them now.
Clearly, it's gonna be one of the first cards that are spiced out of the deck.
100%. First card replace for the Dino. The Restandy Dino. Then we got the spicy card that should probably be the quick ticket. We got 3, what's this called? Sunlight Punishments. Or 2 Sunlight Punishments. It's a grade 3 order that says I can Counterblast 1 to a retire unit, and it's not like I can choose any number of my opponent's rear guards and Counterblast that many to retire those cards. It's okay. It's not necessarily great. It's just, okay. It's one of those things where we make do with what we have at the moment.
That's Hexa Orban, Eugene players supporting each other. It's like we play what we have.
Then we have the absolute menace of the deck, Penetrate Dragon Tribash.
Okay, you're only running that at 3, but I swear you always have at least 2 on the field.
There will always be told.
He never soul charges it either.
No, I have never once soul charges the Triceratops.
If you only play it at 3, it lowers your chances of soul charging.
Exactly, and like I said, you either soul charge the over trigger or you just hit it.
All
If you
right.
remember from Tuesday, I tend to hit it a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's awful. Every time we play, it's like, hey, let's put all 3 into the soul and get 4 crits.
Yeah.
And then I have a PG every time.
Every time. Big Sad, but one day, Big Sad will not be there. Then we have the Persona ride. Eugene, best deck. But, Eugene's skill, like I said, it is rest 2 rear guards, and he gives himself plus 10k, and he retires one of your opponent's rear guards. Or, if you're unlucky and they play no rear guards, he retires nothing, and then he just gets 10k. But if a unit is retired, he has the additional option of a second act, which is Soul Blast 5 and look at the top number, top number of cards of your deck equal to the number of open rearguard circles your opponent has. You can either look at 5 or you can look at 1. I mean, I feel like it should be a set number versus how many rearguard circles you have if I'm paying Soul Blast 5. But there's a little player speculation there that it could have been done a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it's a cool, unique play style for Dragon Empire. Like, obviously, there always had to be a worse deck. You can't always have, like, the consistency of the Bastion, the toolbox manipulation of Barrow Magnus, the real big 4-turn aggression that you get from... Bruce, and I just, again, like, we're early in the game. We know that, like, Bushiroad said they're going to support all of these decks pretty much for the next year. They're going to be all relevant, and it'd be really interesting to see, like, where is Eugene going to go in the next year? I have a lot of ideas of what can make Hexa Orb real good, but what do you think Eugene needs in order for it to become a tier 1 deck, or even a tier 2 deck? Let's be real here. Something that can compete with the metagame. What do you think Eugene needs?
We need the dinosaur.
No, I know what can make him, honestly, probably, like...
Countercharge.
The best deck in format, like, legit, is if his, like, search the top 5 and then call units was on attack.
Yeah, like...
If that was on attack and he could, like, swing.
Okay, but, like, not any retrains, not any erratas. I mean, there's always a good chance that
if they would have done that, like, he would have been busted.
Yeah. Because it'll be really cool to see if they're going to end up doing, like, retrains of the Vanguards to still proc, like, the ride line effects.
Dark Lord Eugene.
Yeah, right. But, I mean, like, we're talking, like, support. What support-wise do you think, like, on-play retirement effects that don't require, like, Counterblast to use? It's a soul-charging deck. Maybe effects that can use cards from the soul.
There's been a couple cards released that have really caught my attention, like the long neck Brachiosaurus. Like he literally just says Soul Blast a card, rest it, and retire something. There's no restriction on what I can retire other than non-targetable stuff. Yeah, Fasado, Trickstar.
Also. Maybe like something that, like, kind of like how like Brantgate has the things they can, like, put stuff in prison from like drop. Maybe like make your opponent call something from drop so you can retire it to, like, turn on the effects like that you retire.
Oh yeah, force call them from their hand.
If I could call from soul, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, that would be pretty good too. Yeah, because that's the tough part. It's like Brantgate. It's a fixable problem, right? Like, they're not calling units for you to be able to imprison from the drop. How do you retire a field when there's no units to retire? And if your whole effect is about chaining and comboing effects off of retiring, maybe effects that force your opponent to call a card and then forcibly retire that card. That could be a real interesting spice. That way you still balance the retirement effect.
Yeah, I definitely like that. I also like the interesting ways of soul charge. So, like, say I red, and I don't want to use my skill on attack to counterblast and soul charge. I like the grade 1 that's coming next set. That when it's discarded during my turn, I just put it in soul.
Yeah, I mean, like Keter that has the Great Witch. I mean, she's the same thing. You discard her. When you use her discard for either Bastion's effect or, like, the ride line. You can Soul Blast 1, Counterblast 1, draw. So Bastion has pretty decent draw power. I'm cutting out the painkillers, but, like, I had the 3 painkillers and 2 Great Witches, and that allowed draw. But that one's even better because it's literally discard, soul charge it immediately. You don't have to worry about paying any effects, and that's a soul charge that doesn't require you soul charging from the deck.
Yeah.
Or just putting it in the soul.
I mean, the deck's alright. I'm not going to say it's, like, one of the higher tier because, let's be honest, it's Eugene.
It's fun.
It's fun. I have more fun with this deck than most decks. It's not supposed to be competitive. It's not supposed to be good enough to compete with Bastion. It's just supposed to work. I mean, and it does. Unfortunately, just not in the way we want it to. We want it to be good and, like, consistent. This is about as consistent as you're going to get right now. If you watch Tuesday's match, that's about as good as it's going to get. Like,
yeah, and again, we're hopeful, and I kind of feel the same way. Like, when it comes to Hexa Orb, I have more fun than playing it with Bastion. Bastion is going to win me games, but Hexa Orb makes me feel like I need to play a little bit smarter in order to make use out of the deck. Or get really lucky.
Over trigger stage last.
Yeah, and you know we kind of have like a little fun challenge. I think I want to play Hexaorb at the next few local tournaments. I know I've talked to Alex here about running Eugene. He did last Sunday. And
I did. It was great.
X4, right?
No, X3. I actually got one. It was against the only non-Bastion player I ran into.
Please run, Eugene. I need a win. I'm playing Xor and I need every chance I can get.
Have you beat Eugene yet? No?
Dang. Alright, guys. Well, this is the end of our deck profile. Thank you for showing off your deck, Alex. We're real stoked to see what we go from here. And, hey, maybe after set 2, we'll see how Eugene's grown. I don't think they've revealed everything for Dragon Empire yet.
Oh, they literally... Eugene... I feel so bad. He's already replaced by Draconic Overlord.
He really has.
Draconic
Overlord. They printed Draconic Overlord, and I'm like, wow. Yep, they're one Eugene. Bye,
All right.
Eugene.
All right, Alex. So tell the folks what they should do. Who should they subscribe to? You know, where to follow, where to find us, and why they should.
All right, you're gonna need to smash, hit, and tap whatever form you do to hit that subscribe button there on YouTube to the Vangaboys channel.
And like I said, we're on Twitter. I'll have that in the description below. Y'all have a great day.
Peace.
So that was actually really fun.